evening. I'm here to drop in with all of you for day 28 of our Panchakarma journey. Own your fire, 40 days of diving deep into Panchakarma to transform our lives from the inside out. And for all of you that have been joining me in this exercise of exploration, innovation, and awakening, I just want to say thank you so much, and thank you for bringing your experience in and coming forward, sharing what's been coming up for you, what it's been like for you. By you doing that and having the courage to have that kind of transparency and being willing to enter into that space of sharing, you're actually creating safety for others to feel more empowered and bringing their voices forward too. So I really appreciate you. And I want to talk about digestion, since that is our main focus for this 10-day cycle that we're currently in. Hopefully you have whipped up a batch of that ginger rasayana and have gotten started on that, or at least plan on getting started on it soon. And if you have, I would love to hear what you think of it. I know some of you have worked with it before and that you love it. And I'm curious about those who are just getting introduced to it and trying it for the first time around. And I'd love to hear your feedback and what that's been like for you. But before I do that, I wanted to talk about this piece about Agni, the fire, and I wanted to bring in a little devotional to yourself for really honoring the work that you have done, your willingness to show up here, to hold space, to clear out what is ready to be released, to enter into that deep puja, to break through your blocks and break through to the other side, and being willing to have the courage to let your light come forward and to actualize that light in the world by nurturing the vision you set at the beginning of this journey. I want us to really stay connected to this piece that we're not just working with this quality of purification and letting go. We're also building the light as we're going through this, and that light is there to support our vision for going forward. And if you didn't have a clear vision before you entered into this, I hope that you will give some space, as we really connect with Agni, that transformational fire, throughout this 10-day period, to get in touch with what that vision is. What does it look like for you? What are you wanting to create on a practical level, and on a spiritual level? Where's your heart wanting to go now? What are you feeling enthusiastic about? Where's your soul tugging you? What's your dream? What is the new potential you want to step into? Allow yourself this space for visioning, dreaming, and just getting in touch with what's on the other side of this transformation for you, so you can really start intentionally building the energy towards it and fueling it with your fire by bringing your fire forward, right? So again, in Ayurveda, it's all interconnected, mind, body, spirit. There's no separation. It's all the same trip, all right? So I think it would be a really beautiful practice that would also tie into this fire ceremony that we did for Kali, to release what we feel is a burden, what's ready to be let go of, so we can create space for that new reality and give it over to her, with the fire offering, burning those sacred herbs in the fire, speaking our intentions, asking for her assistance. And now I want to bring in another piece to kind of support that work, to support the release work, which is all about calling the fire in, honoring the fire within you, recognizing your fire through doing another sort of ritual. So I would like to introduce you to the honor candle, and go out, get yourself a candle, get yourself a nice taper, or you can even get a package of tapers. This is something you can keep up as a regular practice if you like. It will do nothing but support you on your path. And you want to get like a simple oil to dress the candle with. you can do something as simple as olive oil. You don't need anything fancy, okay? And if you want to add some essential oils for their different metaphysical properties to that oil blend, you can. And when you apply the oil to dress your candle, you start at the middle point of the candle, you pull the oil up first as above, and then you take the oil from the center point down, so below, okay? And then if you want to, you can still, carry over some of that work you did offering up the sacred plant allies to Kali in your burn ritual. And you can bring in some different plant allies that will support you in calling your fire forward and what you're bringing in. And you can crush up those herbs and spices and get to know all their medicines. And when I'm speaking of medicines, again, I mean that on all levels. So put out the intention, put out the intention for these allies to come forward for you, to introduce themselves to you, and they absolutely will. They'll come forward. And when they do, get to know them. Look up what they're about. What benefits do they have physically? What benefits do they have mentally? If you are drawn to certain flowers or essences, how do they support the emotions, right? And then, of course, look up the metaphysical qualities. What life situations, what kind of transitions, what kind of juju do these different plants and spices and herbs carry, okay? And you can gather them together and you can charge them up just by holding them in your hands and just fueling them with your intention. You can imagine your intention like a ball of light traveling from your third eye, down into this blend that you're holding in your hands, and just fuel it with your energy, envisioning that energy entering into this blend and everything that you're calling in with it, all the supportive energies that it has to offer through you getting to know these allies, okay? And then you can take that blend and you can roll your candle in it, all right? And that's a properly dressed candle. That's a properly dressed candle for, doing any kind of ritual work. And again, it comes from you. I think so often people are afraid to just trust what comes forward for them. They want somebody else to tell them. They look for outside validation for what they feel inside intuitively. They want to know if it's right, but right according to what standards. I so encourage you, really trust yourself. I want you to trust yourself. You are the expert. You are the expert when it comes to your life. No one knows better than you what you're in need of. And if you feel severed from that or disconnected, it's just a matter of reestablishing that connection with yourself. And where does it begin? It begins with trusting yourself, okay? So trust where you're guided. And the more that you trust where you're guided, you'll be amazed as you follow it up. As you follow up these intuitive hunches like, oh, I think I should work with basil, okay? And then you go and you look up the benefits of basil, the metaphysical properties of basil, and you realize, oh my gosh, this speaks to everything I need right now and everything I'm dealing with in my life right now and exactly what I need to come in to support me. And it's just such a beautiful thing. See, my whole aim in working with people and supplying this information is to empower you. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to know that you have all the keys inside of you. It's not about anything outside of yourself, all right? So I hope you'll really open yourself to that. But this candle, okay, you can place it on an altar, make it a special space where it does have a place of important focus for you, all right? And sometime during the day, whenever it works for you, whether that's to begin your day or at the close of your day, I think it can be really lovely, done in the morning when you wake up, and also in the evening. In the morning, to kind of seed your intentions for the day, to just spend a couple minutes looking into the flame and speaking into existence what you hope to achieve that day, where you want to direct your energy that day, what you're calling in, how you want to bring your fire forward, and asking for that support, of Agni to help you get in touch with what's needed so you can connect with the actions that need to be taken, how you need to focus your energy. Ted says yes, he thinks it's a great idea, okay? And then at the end of the day, you can light your candle again, and this time, acknowledge all the ways that you showed up, all the reasons you're proud of yourself, all the reasons you have to feel good about how you moved through the world that day, the challenges you faced and overcame, the places where you were brave, where you stepped outside of the box, where you did things in a new way. Okay, this is a really beautiful, beautiful practice. And it's so important that you acknowledge the light within yourself. You've done so much work focusing on the wounds and focusing on the trauma, and especially with this retrograde cycle, everything we're moving through, right? You have put so much attention on what needs to be released, but now it's really time to acknowledge the light that's building in you, the gifts that you have, the ways that you have shown up that should give you a healthy sense of pride, okay? I'm not talking about being egocentric. I'm talking about having a healthy sense of pride. You should have a healthy sense of pride for being willing to do the work. And that kind of self-validation is so important for strengthening you, for helping you really come into this place of empowerment where you recognize, I am the authority in my life. And I am aligned with spirit. I am aligned with my higher consciousness. And I lean in to where the energy directs me. And I trust that. And I see confirmation of it every single day when I show up in that way. It's a really beautiful thing. Okay? So I encourage you to bring this in. And at the very least, keep an honor candle going. Leading up to that new moon in Libra. Let's build that light. Let's build the light together. Let's hold it together, all of us, It's that image of, it's sort of like when you pass the torch, right? You light the other person's torch and then they pass that on, that spirit of passing that on. Let's all help ignite each other's fire and get this thing cooking, man, okay? Because there's so much power in that. There's so much potency in that. And on a practical level, I wanted to talk to you about digestion, all right? Because that's our central focus physically this week. And we are really looking at getting our digestive fire stoked, right? So we can clear out any last remnants of that ama that presents as mucus in the body, that which is undigested. It will also help us burn through any of those old holdover emotions, any of our mental blocks, any of our beliefs that don't serve us, any false sense of limitation. It's just going to help us totally cleanse ourselves so we are really, really ready to step into that new cycle cleanly, okay? Really cleanly. It's like we're sweeping the way clear. We are burning away all that's false. We are burning away illusion. We are stepping into the truth of who we are, and we are ready to call our fire forward. We're ready to own it. We're ready to work with it for the transformational force as it is, and it begins within us. And the way that you are digesting is absolutely connected to that. If you're having digestive challenges somewhere in your life, you haven't fully integrated your experiences, your emotions, certain challenges, things that are holding you back on your path, okay? Certain lessons that need to be integrated. So it's all a mirror for one another. So hopefully you've got that Ginger Rasayana going, and you've been enjoying it, or you'll be getting it started real soon here. And I'd love to hear what your experience is with that, how you're feeling doing that Ginger Rasayana. I know so many people love it, so I always like to hear how people are finding things transforming in just how their digestion is performing when they work with that Ginger Rasayana. It's really cool. It's really cool. So we already got that piece in, and you know that you can make up ginger tea and sip on that throughout the day, and that absolutely will support your digestive fire, okay? But I wanted to give a few other things that you can do to really support your Agni coming forward, really support your digestion, getting all of those thermogenic processes going in the body, getting the metabolism humming. All of this is interconnected. So another thing you can do is you can make up a little Rasayana. This is something that those who maybe are vegan, they don't want to work with the ghee, ginger Rasayana. One way you can stoke your Agni, your digestive fire, is to get a little fresh grated ginger. You want to use the ginger root, and you can squeeze a little lemon juice on that and add a little sea salt. Make sure it's sea salt, okay? Not iodized salt. You want to get those good electrolytes in. And you can just take a pinch of that. Chew, chew, chew. Get your amylase working every time you have a meal. And just literally a pinch, okay? Not a bunch, just take a little pinch of it. It doesn't have to be a precise measurement. It's just a little Rasayana that will help get your digestive fire going and help improve your digestion. So that's an option for those of you who are vegans and really are not comfortable taking ghee. I wanted to provide something that could really benefit you and help you get to that place where you can get your Agni really going, man, because it does so much to transform your whole experience of nourishment, for real, on so many levels. Another thing that's important is making sure that you're waiting until your hunger is really set before you eat. You do not want to eat if you're in that place where you're like, I'm not sure, I might be hungry, or maybe you're thinking about food. Maybe you're bored and you want to eat. It's like, well, you can do that, okay? But if you're bored and you're eating, you're actually going to really sabotage your health on multiple levels, because if you're not hungry, that means your digestive fire is not built up to the point where it's ready to digest food. So it's sort of like, I want you to think of it this way. It's like you got this little sputtering flame, going in your digestion, and then you go and put a big old wet log on top of it. It's just going to put out your fire. It's going to put out your fire. So you really want to get to the place where your digestion is giving you a clear signal that, hey, we're hungry, we need fuel, we need to think about eating something. And so I want you to get in touch with your hunger and what that feels like. And make contact with your body. And I think the best way to do this really is when you think about food, okay? So when you think about food, I want you to get out of the head about it, right? And go right down to your body. Put your hands on your stomach. Tune in and notice, is your stomach empty? Does it feel empty? Are you noticing it gurgling at all? Are there the start of hunger pangs? I don't mean like your stomach is growling and chewing on itself and you could go and eat the paint off the walls, okay? Then you've gone way too far. You've missed your hunger signal. But you do want to be at that place where it's like, hey, your tummy's talking, It's giving you clear signs that you're hungry. You feel the emptiness there. You feel things starting to kind of grumble. There's there's some noise being made. It's piping up. It's saying, hey, I'm going to need some food soon, okay? You might notice your mouth watering. That's because the amylase is starting to excrete and get ready to begin the digestion process. Digestion begins in the mouth, okay? So this is important. If you're not hungry, do not eat. Because if you eat and you're not hungry, you're going to put out your digestive fire. And then you're going to continue to have digestive issues, and you're not going to feel well. And you won't be able to properly assimilate the nutrients of the foods you eat. Even if you're eating the healthiest diet you can think of, it won't make a difference if you can't absorb the nutrients you're eating. So this piece is so, so key. Another thing that's really something that can help sort of support this process and get you on a more even keel, and it might take time. It might take time to arrive at this place. So don't make a rigid rule about it. Just notice your patterns, notice how your hunger is developing, and this can really help. Is to have your biggest meal at lunch, between noon and 2 p.m. That is when your digestive fire is the strongest. So see if you can start slanting things more in that direction, and close the kitchen by 8 p.m. Use herbal teas and stuff to help support you to get away from that night eating. And then I think you'll find things coming more into a place of balance. You need to let your digestive organs detox and do what they need to do at night and not burden them with digestion. And these steps are going to transform your Agni. So wanted to bring that piece in to support and bring in the honor candle piece. And that's what I got for you this evening. And I'll drop in with you again tomorrow. You're all doing a fantastic job. I'm proud of you.